Welcome everyone to our last phase of the day, which is by Mr. Seif. The session is about how to pitch your idea. A little introduction about our new facilitator. Mr. Seif is a senior program scout from Flat Six Labs with experience working with and scouting startups. He's also the business mentor with Seed Start, as well as chapter director with the startup grind in Giza, Egypt. From his experience today, basically he'll be talking us about how we can take an idea and into a pitching draft. So the floor is all yours, Mr. Seif. Please feel free to open up your camera and start with your space. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for the intro. I was talking on mute. Okay, perfect. Hello, everyone. I hope everybody's safe and healthy and having fun until now. Thank you for the intro. Thank you so much for the intro. I was gonna start at the beginning by giving an intro about myself, but you covered it. Thank you so much. Okay, let me start by sharing my screen. That's perfect. So yeah, the intro you gave is thank you so much for that again. So another I want to add a small thing. Me as a scout at Flat Six Labs. So Flat Six Labs is one of the oldest accelerators slash VCs in the MENA region. So we work with thousands of startups. So when I started with Flat Six Labs, I worked with like 10, 15, 20 startups. The first year of Flat Six Labs, I worked with 200 startups. And this year, I worked with almost 1,000 startups. And from starting with Flat Six Labs 2 years and a half until now, I work with most of 1,000 startups or 1,000 entrepreneurs with established businesses. And that's the beauty of being part of a very, very engaging community and very growing community in the MENA region in general. Okay, so today we're talking about something called pitching. So a lot of people saw people pitch, know basically what is a pitch presentation, but they don't know what science and knowledge is behind the pitch itself. We work day and night with entrepreneurs at Flat Six Labs. We work until the last day of the program with startups on rehearsing and building their pitch decks. And it's a very important tool that we will focus on during our program. And it's a very, very, very advanced element of your business life until you sell the business and start retiring early again. So some people don't know what is pitching. So we're here for them today. Okay. So basically, let's start by, if you're sitting with a friend and you want to go have some fun in an arcade, or just want to go try a new restaurant, and he's not willing to do that easily. So he's like, I don't want to, or he doesn't know the restaurant, or you tried it before and you're trying to explore your experience and share your experience. That's basically pitching. If you're trying to get your friend into a restaurant, that's basically pitching. You want something from him, and he's not willing to give it to you for the sake of it. So you need to share the experience and negotiate with him until he goes with you. And after he goes there and it's a bad restaurant or a good restaurant, that's the end result. Yeah, we don't care about it right now. Okay. I don't know if someone here, if you guys here have children, but if you discuss every day with me, if you have children, you want them to eat more green in their food. And they don't want it because it tastes bad, because they like sweets more and stuff like that. Basically, that's pitching. And you tell him, if you eat your greens, you get bigger and stronger. Yeah, how is that possible? And he doesn't understand how the if you eat your greens now, I'm gonna give you candy afterwards. Oh, that's the reasonable any trade. That's pitching. So if you didn't know, you're pitching every day. You're working on your pitch every day. When you go to your parents, wanting a raise in your allowance, that's pitching. If you go to your boss and you want to raise or promotion, that's pitching. You're trying to pitch, but we're not pitching. Sometimes we're not pitching the right way, and sometimes we're pitching the right way and we get the instant results. We don't know what is the science behind it. That's why it's almost um, yani undecidable in general. Okay, so let's start by the pitch formula. So there is a standard pitch formula. Nobody in the business world, they figured it out. What is the best way that we can present something to an investor or a businessman or just telling people our idea, just to get hooked on the idea itself. So they found the formula. Oh, the formula almost work. If you're doing it right with the right solution, it works almost 100%. Yeah. Disclaimer: 100%. I'm not responsible if it doesn't work. Maybe the idea is not good. It's not me. Okay. So first, the formula, the formula of a pitch always works like you're telling a story. Okay. So you're defining your offering at first. What are you presenting? What are you giving? Who are you giving to? Who are you targeting? And who is your owner? Who's the owner of the product? Who's gonna pay for it, or who's gonna get the benefit? Okay, and is it solving a problem? This is the most important question every business must answer. Is your product solving a problem? So if your product is solving a problem for a specific audience, then that's your target customer that's going to pay the money for the business. And the bigger the problem, the bigger the problem, the bigger the customer, the bigger the size of the market, the more they get in money. That's how an investor thinks. And last thing in the secret sauce, in the format, is the secret sauce. The secret sauce is what makes you different from all your competitors, or all of the solutions out there in the market, or all of the your friends out there trying to get one of the most popular guy or girl to go out and get food. That's what makes you different from them all. Yeah. That's basically the main final touch in the formula, and that all of that combines to create the pitch in general. So there's a small example, and you can use it to train yourself actually. So this is a pitching Mad Libs, where you can just say, my company is, for example, Flat Six Labs. We're developing programs and seed funds to help accelerate and support innovative technology, innovative technology products, and inspiring entrepreneurs to get to their next phase of their business. With our years of experience and dedicated team that are developing these programs. So that's basically my Mad Libs. If you want to train yourself, you can use this Mad Libs. Actually, if you want, you can write the Mad Libs of your idea or business right now in the comments, and just like you're pitching your idea to someone in an elevator. So that's the elevator pitch. That's the first step and the very start of a pitch. Basically, when you get your idea and you tell it to your friend, and what do you think about creating Uber for pets? Just a cab, a ride-hailing service, just to transfer dogs and cats to go to a spa or a daycare, or even to a resort. That's an elevator pitch. What makes it different? Who's the audience? Pet owners. You're pitching the idea. When you get the first pitch, that's the and you try to say it to your friend or a family member, and they tell you you're crazy. You're telling them that you're giving them the elevator pitch. Okay. Why is it named elevator pitch? Because basically, it takes the next the idea to the next step. So if you're telling someone, if you're riding an elevator with an investor, and you tell them the idea from from the ground floor to floor 5 or floor 3, and you get a meeting, that's taking the business to the next step. So that's why they call it elevator pitch. Also, it's related to a time duration, but it never sticks to the time duration. So it's like 30 seconds, deliver the elevator pitch, but it never sticks because people have questions and they cut you off, and it never sticks in 30 seconds. It's more than that. And that's why I say it's taking the business to the next phase. So this is the first type of pitching. There's different types of pitching you face in your life, in your lifetime in general. Starting from the elevator pitch, going to the regular pitch deck, which we're going to be discussing today. Actually, the pitch deck is the basic structure of the presentation, and you develop on it. It's more of a comic book that never ends. And an investor pitch deck, which is more detailed and more focused on numbers that can support your business and tell the story of the business and the roadmap of the business during the next 5 years. Taxi cab or Twitter pitch is actually when the driver asks you, what do you work, or where do you work, or what do you do in general? You tell them I'm a founder of a Uber for pets and for pets. That's actually the taxi cab pitch. It's very simple. It's a one word. Very easy, very to the point. It opens up discussions. Yeah. So on the elevator pitch and the sales pitch. The sales pitch is actually, we used it a lot in our lives, or you're going to use it a lot in your life. As you go, you're going to find a lot of people that try to sell you stuff. That's all the sales pitch. Okay, perfect. So how to pitch and what is a pitch deck? Okay. So how to pitch in general is split into two. There's the person that's pitching and the presentation. The presentation holds all the science and holds all the storytelling and the comics and all the graphics and all of that. Is the presentation itself, and the person is pitching. You have to also have some soft skills that will help you throughout your life, not just like through this hackathon. It's gonna help you through your life. It's gonna build confidence. It's gonna make you another person. I can tell you that. A totally different person. So we're gonna start. What is a pitch deck? So we all seen or saw Shark Tank, or here in Egypt we have Forza, or Silicon Valley, the TV series, or we've seen a competition or seen a startup that is pitching. We always see the big presentation on stage and the person that's very well prepared, talking with a very to the point script. That's all the pitching. That's all the pitch. Okay, that's all the components of the pitch. And most of the times we see them standing in front of specific judges that are with different mindsets. So what the challenge is, how can all of the judges or these the audience can all know and understand how your business works in the same time? And that's the magic of the pitch in general, and how the pitch is structured. Even if they don't fully understand the business, they will have questions, but to the point questions. That's the whole idea of creating this type of pitch deck. Okay. So my definition of pitch deck is a living document / point quote presentation that provides a brief but informative overview of your business / idea. It should cover the whole points of how the business works and how it will generate money and what you need from the person in front of you. And I'll focus on what you need, because every pitch has its own unique structure based on the person you're pitching to. So if you're pitching, for example, to a co-founder, you're looking for a team member or a co-founder, you need to pitch them a whole different pitch than the regular pitch. It's a more detailed pitch. It's actually more detailed than you give to your investors, because this guy or girl is going to be your life partner until the business goes up or goes down. Competitions and hackathons and different type of challenges that support entrepreneurs or enablers that support entrepreneurs, they have a different structure for every they have not different as much as to the point pitch deck. If you're going to a bank, you have to have a type of pitch deck for them. And if you go to a bank, every entity has its own manual. So if you go to a bank has a structure for its pitch deck. If you want a loan, if you want support, if you want a partnership with the bank, you have to have a pitch deck for a bank. VCs actually publicly tell people what they need in a pitch deck. So actually, the structure of the pitch deck I'm showing you today is our pitch deck structure that we look for, but at Flat6 Labs. But it's not most of the VCs are very similar. Most of the competitions are very similar because they're same science, same needs, no difference. The idea is sometimes VCs have their own structure of slides that are different than other VCs, but it's not critically a thing that is required, but they may comment on it. And last but not least, partnerships. Partnerships don't need details about the business more than just like what you need from us to help support the business. That's basically the partnerships pitch in general, if you focus on it. Okay. So why do we need a pitch? So nobody or at the current stage will read a 20-page business plan. I'm saying 20-page in good hope that it's going to be summarized. 20-page business plan that's written on Word with thousands of words in it, and a lot of numbers and a lot of structure and a lot of everything there and that. Business plans are getting more hectic. It's a lot of effort when you're starting your business. So most of business mentors and consultants recommend for now just focus on the pitch deck and leave the business plan when the business gets to a point that's big enough that it needs a business plan. So focus on the business, not the business plan. That's why the pitch deck is there. Okay, so the business is more important than the business plan. Yes, because I said this point. So focus on the business, not the business plan, because people take more time on developing a business plan than just doing the operations and testing everything out. So you just need to visualize what you're going to do and put it in a pitch deck and start working on your business. That's simpler than creating a business plan. Okay. Pitch decks should tell a story and should stand alone without you presenting, because it's actually you telling a story of what is your business. People should read the pitch deck and just understand the business, what mainly does. Okay. So you have to extract the script right there in you, and you have to get him out and just like focus on how you can make it presentable and simple as possible to a 4-year-old to read this pitch deck. I'm saying it for a good hope that it's summarized. Okay. So when I'm telling you, you're telling a story. Yeah, you're telling a story. You're literally telling a story. It's a 3-act story. So it's structured to build momentum until you get to the point of people connecting and knowing that you're doing the best solution ever and just buying it with the ask side. So the 3 acts structure is very simple. You start with the why. Why are you building this business? Why are you structuring this business? How did you find this product? Basically, by telling them the problem. The problem you searched and researched day and night, and you found out that it has a big market. And you found out the solution you're building is the best solution for them. That's how you build momentum and you get hooked with people. Okay. So you have to tell them the origin of the problem. You have to get emotional in it. You have to connect, because the first act is the most important act, because if you're a go or no. So if you're a go, you're gonna hook people from the problem from the first 30 seconds. I'm gonna get that later in the presentation. First 30 seconds are the most important. You have to hook people with the problem. So you have to get emotional. You have to structure your problem with numbers in a very emotional way, in a very way of empathizing the problem. So people can go on and tell you, oh, so how are you going to solve this critical issue? And you just told them, and we found the solution. The solution is, and you start telling the competitive advantage or the advantage or the value proposition of the business structured in parallel with the problem. So you're going to line out the problem, you're going to line up next to it the solution, the slide after it, the solution that must be connected most of the time. So if there's problem 1, you have to have solution for problem 1. Problem 2, solution for problem 2. Problem 3, solution for problem 3. And after that, how are you going to do that? So you're going to start talking about the product itself and how the product works and how the product is structured. And after that, you're going to say how the product makes money. So if your revenue model is subscription-based, margin-based, premium, all of that, how are you going to make money? So you're going to structure it in a slide called business model or revenue model, and you're going to focus on them as much as possible and tell people if there's an investor in the audience, you have to tell them how you make money, because it's not charity. I'm going to invest in this business. I need to know how I'm going to take my money back. So how are you going to do that? How are you going to get paid? How are you going to fund yourself for the next 2 to 3 years? And that's when the vision comes in. You have to focus on the vision and how is the business going to grow in the next 2 to 3 years, quarterly based. So quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, you're going to tell you're going to go on and say, we're going to expand to Africa. How is expanding to Africa affect me? Bring in more money, more clients, new solution that needs to be developed and it's going to be launched in Africa because Africa is the best market. Just tell us in the vision how are you going to live and survive for the next 5 years, 3 years actually. Okay, so the next slide is, and we're ending all of this with, after all of this great vision, product, solution, solving the problem, the roadmap, you have to close with on a big note. So after you wow everyone with the solution and how you're solving all of this, you just tell them, here is the team that's building this product, and last but not least, here's the money we need to survive and build this product. And thank you, and you just leave, or you're going to give them a call to action just to test out your product, and you just leave. It's actually being on a stage, acting on Broadway. I'll put it like that. So you're putting yourself on stage, and you're just reacting all the way. How emotional the problem is, how energetic you are in the solution, and how confident you are about your team. That's actually theater. You gotta put out your Al Pacino or Leonardo DiCaprio from personality, and just put it out there and just act it out as much as possible. Okay. So this is the structure we work on at Flat 6 Labs. So to get on more details, Flat 6 Labs, we focus on this table, meaning this structure of a presentation. You can do some changes. I prefer to stick to this because it builds the story and narrative as best as possible. Or actually, our structure is more common than other structures. Other structures are just like moving the team slide up, moving the market size up, basic changes, nothing critical. But I prefer if we just stick to storytelling and stick to the drama of pitching, and just like problem, solution, product, and then close on a high note with the confident team that's building everything. So I'm gonna go through every slide right now, telling you how it's preferably structured. I'm gonna tell you some mistakes that you should avoid during your pitch, and how to best practice your pitching in front of people. Okay, we all understand the cover slide. So cover slide is basically a branded cover with the logo of the startup and a small tagline that just best describes the effect of the business, not the whole business. And you don't want to spoil everything. Just like want to tell them, tease them what is the business. So Uber, and transporting everything. Flat 6 Labs, accelerating the future. A slogan. Nike, just do it. It's the slogan. Actually, it's the slogan. So this is the first step. The cover slide is very well branded slide with a small tagline that describes the business without spoiling everything that's going to be inside the pitch itself. So the first slide is the problem. So here we have an example of Airbnb presentation. It's actually a good replica of the Airbnb presentations. You're gonna find it easily on the internet. That's because it's more the most common pitch deck. If I get you the Facebook one, it's more complicated because Facebook pitched in 2005. So it's when everything was still starting out there. So here, Airbnb is very simple, very straightforward. The whole idea is emphasizing on the problem itself that they're solving, and putting a small description on how this problem is affecting the customer, or affecting how is it critical. You can put it similar to Airbnb. You can put it with icons. You can put it with pictures about the problem itself. Just small lines of how this problem is critical. So here, price is important and concern of the customer booking to travel. Of course, because most of us are traveling, are on budget. So we need to find a cheaper place, and hotels are not are more of a very structured organization with specific prices in different seasons. So they usually travel with the same prices every time. So the Airbnb is providing you more variety for good price. Airbnb is focusing on that hotels are disconnecting us from the community around us. If you're going to Spain, you want to explore Spain and Madrid as much as possible, not just like sitting in a hotel. If you're sitting in a Four Seasons, this is very similar to the Four Seasons here in Egypt. So you're not exploring as much as possible. So for people that want to explore, you should stay in a place that really connects with the community you're around. No easy access. When Airbnb was starting, there's no easy access to rent local places. So you have to communicate with friends over there, and they have to find a broker or find the owner, or go to a place that are, or even if there's an open website that people put prices on, and just like phone numbers is not secure at all. You may find people are scary, or if you try to go on Craigslist in the US, you find a lot of scary stuff over there. So Airbnb, you have a review, have contracts. The payments are going through Airbnb, so it's more secure at many levels. So when I said the problem must connect with the solution itself, the next slide. So when we set price, the price is the problem. So he said solution is we're saving money when you're traveling. When we said hotels are disconnecting us, he said sharing culture. Making money is actually an extra thing, but it's very important because you're enabling jobs. You're enabling people to get passive income. So it's a very important solution to add. So basically the solution is adding the value you create and how you solve the problems for people that you're targeting. Okay, this is how you structure it. Most of the time the graphics is this way. Icons and just like putting small taglines, and you describe as you go. When you're talking on stage, you describe as you go in a very formatted way, in a script. Actually, you create your own script for every slide, how you solve this and how you solve that, and how this problem is critical, and we're solving this and solving that. And how, as much as possible, when you're creating the script, you're creating a story. So as much as possible, connect the problem as a segue for the solution. Okay. And after you describe the solution and the whole solution, you get to how the solution is created, and how is it effective, and how is it going to people. So if we're talking about a mobile app. So the standard design of a mobile app is this way. So you just add a mock-up of the app, or a very fancy mock-up of the app, and you just talk about the steps of how users are using this solution. Or if it's a web app, you use screenshots on laptops in a mock-up of a laptop, and you show them the steps of how we can book Airbnb, how you can order an Uber, how you can order food from Talabat, DoorDash, anything. Think about the most three simple steps of the solution. If it's more of a product, not an app, you have to add the product itself. You have to show the product, how is it made, or show us the product and how is it working in general. So you put pictures of the product, or you put 3D mock-ups or anything of the product and how it's working. If it's a fashion product, you put customer reviews. If it's a hardware product, you tell us how you build it and how is it delivering the solution. If it's an app, you put it like this way. That's basically how you describe your product. And how is it delivering the solution? You have to say when you're talking and when you're describing, you have to deliver how this is effective and how this affects the solution, and how is it building the solution, how is it delivering the value. Yes. Okay. So next slide is business model. So business model is how basically the business makes money. So if I'm selling a subscription base, if I'm doing packages, so I'm gonna say we're paying how the package is structured and how is it delivered to the customer. And if you're paying somebody a commission anyway, you say you paid this guy 10%, and you're getting the whole 90%, 10%, and getting the 9%. Okay. You don't have to forecast in the business model. You don't have to at all. You just say how you're gonna get paid. So I'm getting, my revenue model is 10% on per transaction. So I'm gonna say that per transaction, per order, I'm gonna get 10%. If I'm doing a SaaS model, so I'm getting 100%, so I don't need to say the percentage. So I'm gonna say the package itself, because all of it goes into the company. So I'm gonna say I'm taking a margin, or I'm doing a markup revenue model or anything. I just need to emphasize on how I'm making this money. You don't need to compare. You don't need to add forecasts. Forecasting is not the best thing in pitching, because you're tying yourself to numbers that are not realistic, because basically you're still, all of this is still still not created. The value is still not created. You didn't test out the market, all of that. Okay, so there's two slides actually. I'm gonna start with the market validation, because most of you guys don't have established businesses already, or have established businesses but didn't generate money yet. I'm gonna assume that. Okay. So market validation, there's two slides actually: traction and market validation. If you're still beginning, you're still starting, you need to do a market validation slide, because it tells people how there's a need, but I'm still not getting this need into my company. And if you're in the market and you're acquiring businesses, then you do a traction slide. Traction slide is actually telling people what you've created until now. if you didn't generate any money until now, but you have initial users, you create attractions. If you don't have any users and you didn't launch the product or anything, just do a market validation. Market validation is basically showing examples of similar products or very close products outside, similar in the market or in different markets, and comparing them to your current product. So if I'm saying Airbnb, so people use Craigslist. The Craigslist is more of a dangerous platform for people to rent places. Sometimes it's good, sometimes very bad. Couch surfing, so people offer up rooms in their apartment or anything. So I get as much as possible the numbers and I add them as a validation to my idea. So my idea is combining both in Airbnb. So if I'm doing something Uber for pets, so we're gonna tell people, we're gonna compare them to Uber at the current moment and how Uber is not focusing on pets. We're gonna compare them to InDrive or Didi, any of the apps that are doing ride hailing, Swivel, any of the apps are doing ride hailing and different transportation that people have demand on it, but do they have demand for pets in cars? So basically, you just tell them yes here, and you just tell them here's the market, here's the appetite, and I'm gonna focus on getting this niche part of it. Or in your case, I'm telling you on my city example of a pet Uber for pets. If you're for you guys, if you're doing a very serious product and you're focusing on a very serious product, you have to be very serious on how the size of this market at the current stage or current value that's being delivered is very big. And after I combine both or work on a very similar solution with different value competitive advantage, is gonna bring in more than the usual clients. Okay. So this is for the market validation. For the traction, I know that if you guys have any questions, I'm gonna answer it, no problem. It's very complicated, I know, because it has a lot of comparables and you have to get a lot of numbers, but this is the only hard part of the pitch deck, plus the market size. Okay, so these are the two hardest parts in the pitch deck. So if you have already created value for people and you delivered, so you have to do a traction slide, and it's much easier. Just add the numbers you created until now. Basically, and if you have some reviews or anything, you just add it and design it very well, and you just show this to people as a validation to your solution. Okay. And after that, we create a market size slide. So usually we use the TAM, SAM, SOM structure, which total addressable market, total serviceable market, target market, and we structure all of that. But you don't need to present the whole TAM, SAM, SOM on the slide. You just need to know your market, the focus on the market and the size of the market, and you just need to add it here. So I'm targeting people that are using that. I'm targeting government rates in Egypt that don't have Talabot. So we have 60 million people over there. So I'm targeting 60 to support 60 million as my target market. 60 million person in government rates in Egypt alone to deliver everyday needs and food and drinks and everything. So this is my market. So if you have to calculate your market size, very specific target focused market size, and you just add it here, and you And I don't prefer you guys adding a forecasted market share because it's too early for that. You just say our total addressable market or total target market is kaza kaza kaza, which is based in kaza kaza kaza, and total based total addressable market is the total market size is number X, and this is based in X, and we're expanding to markets X and X, which will expand this number to X, and that's all you need in the market size. You have to know your sources and calculations in your head. When a judge asks you, you need to answer the numbers right and how you got these numbers, because the numbers are very, very important when you're on a judging panel. Judges you may have an investor-based judge, and he just like ask you, how did you get this number? And you tell him, I found a research on UNDP, for example, talking about agriculture, and I got this number from it. How did we make sure this number is totally your target clients? You'll get very detailed and very focused answers you need to have in your head, and prepared for any surprising questions on the market size. Okay. Competition slide. Actually, you have two formats of competition slide. So this is the plus one, and there's also the table. The table is actually you just listing your competitors up in the tables in the top tables, and on the side you just place the whole competitive matrix, and you just do a tick sign, and you just like tick it off everything you think you're better than your competitors and what they have already. And there's this is more vague. So I recommend we check with the competition if this is preferable, this or the other competition, or the other competition slide is preferable. I prefer the other one, but this is if you don't have enough data about your competitor, you can create this one, because it's more vague, more showing off how you're awesome, but it's not effective. So you're gonna get a lot of questions on it, but you need to search. If you do it right, it's okay. You can use this. Looks good. Looks better than the other one. I prefer the other one. It's more efficient. It's more right to the point, but sometimes people emphasize how they're doing everything better than the competition, and it's just not right. So there's actually memes about this competition table, competition table. It's almost inaccurate every time. So if you're gonna do that, you do it right. Get everything the business works on similar to you, and what you do different, and add it in the table, and you add the logos in the top table, and you just start ticking away. If you can't do that, this is the generic one. I added this generic one because it's generic. Everybody uses it. If you use this one, try as much as possible to be accurate, because if you say you're affordable, you have to have the numbers. If you say you're if you're more efficient or more active or more detailed, you have to have the numbers and proof. And don't ever downplay your competition. It's never a good way of passing a competition, because someone from the competition may be in the audience, someone from the judges may be an investor in one of the companies, and if you downplay, he may challenge you over that. And it happened with me before because I was in a competition, I was a judge, and a girl just said, talked bad about our one of our portfolio companies. And I just asked her at first, do you have proof about that, these claims? And she said, I heard from people. And I know the guy, and I know the portfolio company, and I've seen it, and it's been on TV, and it's a very rising star, and they're doing very well. And I challenged her on everything she said, and afterwards she came and apologized for doing that. I told her, if you want to sit with him, do that, but don't undermine him or don't downplay the competition when you're on a stage. It's very bad. As much as possible, be accurate and be focused on what you do best, not what they do worst. Yeah. Next slide. Okay. Roadmap. So the roadmap is actually the most free and exciting slide because you're almost done with the pitch, and at the same time you're talking about the future. So you're on the top of the mountain. You saw the axis graph. You're on the top of the mountain. You're talking about the vision. So what are you gonna do in the next 2 years, 3 years? From now on, from now, you're taking an initiative. You're starting the business, and what's gonna happen next? You're gonna talk in quarters or years, preferably quarters. Every quarter, every 3 months, what are you gonna do different? So if we're in 2020, we're talking in the future. We have left in 2022. I think two quarters. Like actually, no, we have 2 quarters. So you're gonna from right now on to end of the year. What's gonna happen next? Happen in the beginning of 2023. What's new? A new feature, a new market, a new structure, a new product. What's your plan? What's your future plan for the business? That's basically what you're focusing on in this slide. Feel free to explore. Don't add any of the features, future features in the product and in the solution. Add it here. Add the working features and products and the one you're starting and focusing on in the solution and product sides. And when you're thinking of exploring new services, and when exploring new services, add it here. I'm gonna add in mid 2023. I'm gonna add a new service. And end of 2023, I'm gonna open up in Africa. And how is that gonna affect the business? So I'm gonna get, if I'm getting $100K, $100,000 per month right now, if I'm gonna expand to Africa, it's gonna bring me up to $1 million. Add that. If I'm adding a new feature, is gonna increase retention and increase the customer base. Add that, and how it's gonna affect the money. If you don't have to add the money, you have to add the effect of customers. If you don't have the numbers of money ready, so it's exploring different combinations of expansion and development of the business here in the roadmap. So you have to be also accurate about that as much as possible because it's forecast. So you don't need to tie yourself to big promises also. So you don't say, I'm gonna expand if you didn't start. Sorry. Okay. Don't tie yourself to big promises. As much as possible, focus on the accurate and what you're able with your current resources or future resources or the money you will get from the competition or from the investor. How are you going to build on that? Don't build enormous promises. Like big startups sometimes oversell and they over fundraise and they overvaluate their companies, and we have to spend the money to get more money and have to get to the promises and the company. If you're a company 10 employee company, you get to 1,000 employee companies, everything is shaking up. People are not knowing each other. Everything is gonna be more shaky. People are not confident. You have to increase salaries to get more people. It can explode in your face if you overpromise. And there's good examples of that in the market on the current stage. So you close on a high note, and that's the team. As much as possible, if you're still starting the business, don't say CEO, CFO, COO, CCO. You just say what you do best as a team player. So if you're a development guy, you just talk about tech. You're gonna say you're the tech guy or tech director or head of technology. And if you're the business development guy, head of business development. And if you're the manager, just say what you're good, managing director. Try to downplay the roles. You don't need C-level roles for now. You need C-level roles when you're raising Series A investment, because C levels are not required when you're starting a business. It gets to your ego. So if you worked before in a company or have experience, try to mention it under your title and your name, and try to add some logos. So if you worked in Microsoft, you add the logo of Microsoft, small logo of Microsoft, a small logo of Facebook, anything that can support the team slide. Okay, and that's all. And after that, you can add an ask slide, or you don't need to add an ask slide. Ask slide which is if you're in a competition and there's a prize money, you tell them how you're going to spend the money. In a pie chart on how you're going to spend money, and you need to focus on operations, marketing, team, everything. Where are you going to spend this money? If you're going to take $1,000, you're going to tell them how you're going to spend $1,000. You're going to tell them $10,000. You're going to have to structure that. And after that, thank you and good night. Some rules to keep in mind when you're pitching. Less is enough as much as possible. Don't talk and ramble when you're on stage. As much as possible, be to the point, be concise as much as possible. Don't use a template or a common template. Be a creative copier. Okay, copy with creativity. Use a template that's not common and try to make it your own. Try to rebrand it and add your own touch and color. Use as much as possible easy to read text, words that are easy to understand. Small, don't add paragraphs, just add small one-liners. As you go in the presentation, you don't need to add bulks of text, just one-liners and more visuals. And actually the next point is adding more visual than text. So use more visuals, less text. Always have the resources in the footer of the presentation. If you're doing a market size slide, use a resource link in the footer of the slide. If you're using a competition, same. Everything, market size, market problem, everything. If you have a resource, try to put the main link or the main research you use in the footer, because people will get more credibility for that. Always use numbers that matters or matrix that matters. Don't just use all the numbers you have. If you're a SaaS product, you have a cost of acquisition, retention rate, MRR, everything. All of that are metrics that matter. You can use them in your traction slide. Don't add a video in your slide. It gets very, very, very annoying. and it makes people lose attention. And last but not least, don't downplay your competition. So when you pitch, you need to create a script, a structured script. Every slide, you need to write down what are you going to say in this slide, and test it out. Just test out if you can say it in 5 seconds. And afterwards, the same thing. You have to build the script. If you ramble on and you just like say everything you want, people are gonna go to sleep. You're gonna lose focus. You're gonna get nervous, and everything is gonna go everywhere. Okay. Timing. Focusing on pitching, focusing on timing, focusing on script. You have to train yourself on a script that can get you through the pitch in 3 to 5 minutes, maximum 5 minutes. If you get more than 5 minutes, you're rambling on. People are gonna lose focus and gonna get frustrated, and then they're gonna hate you and hate the business even if you're doing something great. Okay. People are gonna get this guy. The guy in the middle is getting sleepy. The guy after the second guy is losing focus, and someone is looking at his phone, trying to order food, or his wife is texting him to get back home because the kids are in the dryer. Okay. First 20 seconds are the best 20 seconds. And if I'm an investor and the first 20 seconds you're not connecting with me, I'm gonna go on my phone and check my email. Now that's a bad thing. You have to connect with everyone in the first 20 to 30 seconds. Always make a point, be concise, focus. If you ramble on, no one will hear. Every slide doesn't need to take more than 10 seconds, 15 seconds. You have five minutes maximum. You have to focus. Don't linger on the obvious. Create a story around your innovation. As we said, templates are boring. Okay. So be as much as possible concise. Don't go back and forth in the same point. Just focus on it. Focus on the body language. Be open on stage, or open the camera on Zoom, and be open and try to give more energy to the people. Smile and do some hand gestures as much as possible. Communication. Try as much as possible to make people focus with you. Say words that are easy to understand. Focus on structuring your text and script to be more to the point, more than easy to absorb in general. Ego out of the door. So if you're in a competition, judges are most of the time more people experienced than you. So please leave your ego out of the door and focus on working on your business and getting constructive feedback. And use this constructive feedback and filter it and use it in your business. People on judging panel or investors or people on stage will have more. Always put yourself in a room that everybody's smarter than you. So when you have a chance, focus on it. Confidence. There's a small line between ego and confidence. Confidence is putting yourself on the line to help support the business and developing it. The ego is defending your idea and defending your honor, just people just giving you feedback. So don't do that. Focus on confidence is showing yourself passionate about the business and how is the business is going to develop. But at the same time, be open to constructive feedback, be open to comments, don't defend yourself. And that's all. Thank you so much. I hope everyone understand this session and have the full idea of it. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Seif, and for our attendees. So this was the last space for today. We have a Q&A, so if you have any questions related to Climathon and how the processes are going to go, we have a Q&A at 6 p.m. today at Cairo time in the same link, so you can join in. But for now, we're done for today, and thank you so much for your time.